Hey everyone, Pastor George here with today's Bible study recap, and today we talked about Hosea 5. And so this continues on the theme from last week. You remember last week we looked at God's complaint, his legal attack on Israel, if you will, right? He's laying out his case saying this is why things are going wrong. And this is what you've done that's bad. And so because of that, I'm going to bring justice. And that is what he is talking about big time this week. You'll see the connection, right? Like he begins starting off talking to the priests and to the kings and to the people of Israel, and there's this connection that the way that the kings and priests are acting is having effect on the people. But really, I would say the Lord is not just saying, "Oh, it's their fault." I think that's a tendency in our culture, and generally, right? We blame leaders, and certainly leaders bear responsibility for what happens under them. But I often think that means people think that means they can get out of it, but that's not what the Lord is saying, right? He's saying that people are going to be held accountable too, and he talks about some of the things by naming names, right? He talks about how Mizpah, which used to be a place that was good, has now been a place of syncretic worship, or the Mount Tabor in the Jezreel Valley, and how that is now a site for Baal worship and stuff like that, right? So people are beginning to pervert a lot of the things that they were taught, and they've this has begun to have bad outcomes for people. One of the things that the Lord is really clear about here is that he is going to bring justice, right? And so there is not going to be fruit in the land. He kind of says there's going to be devastation. Not kind of says, he does say that, but the way he says it is instead of the things that they would expect, right? Like children and crops, those things are going to be taken away. He also tells them that there's going to be a war coming to them from the south. So Judah is going to attack them, and he says, I'm going to hold Judah accountable for their actions, right? They're trying to steal your land and stuff like that, and they will be held accountable, but that war is going to be part of my judgment. He says, you're going to flee to other people. So we do know, for instance, he calls out Assyria here, and we know that the northern kingdom of Israel did pursue a kind of vassal ship type of situation, tributary relationship. And what that means is you would pay tribute to a greater power, and basically that power would then, be obligated to come to your aid if you needed it. And so the people that Israel sides up with is Assyrians, who are like the big guys in the region at this point. They're like the big power. Be like today, if you wanted protection, you would really play up into America, or China, or one of those powers, right? And so Assyria is going to be the people that are going to protect Israel, and they will do that. And we have records of kings from Israel paying tribute to the Assyrians, so we know that happened historically. The interesting thing is that we also know that eventually what they're going to try to do, these Israelites in the north, what they're going to try and do is they're going to try and throw off the shackles of Assyria, and that is going to lead to them being completely wiped out. And by completely wiped out, that's hyperbole. Some stay in the land, a lot move south to Judah. But all of that is to say is the kingdom itself as a political entity is not going to exist anymore. And that is all part of God's judgment that he's bringing upon them for what they're doing now. Well, this worship and things like that. He actually says that he compares his justice right here to like a sickness or a moth, right? This decay that's going to happen. It's not going to be super sudden. It's going to be over time and slowly, but that's what's going to happen. And even if they go to Assyria, it's not going to protect them because the Lord is stronger than Assyria, right? He's like a lion. That's what he calls himself. So this judgment is building up, and that's what's going to continue throughout the book of Hosea, because Hosea wants the northern kingdom of Israel to understand and repent and turn away from their idolatry, or at least those who have ears to hear and eyes to see to do that, because the justice of the Lord is coming, which is really important to remember. So I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. I'll see you tomorrow for an episode of A New Thing. Peace out.